everyone. Thank you for attending this PayPal Business Bootcamp. Event series was created by PayPal to help business owners around the globe ask questions, learn, execute, and grow. Each boot camp is only 20 minutes because we know how busy business owners are. So we want to respect your time, but hopefully give you plenty of practical advice to use in the future. My name is Dr. Tiffany Raymond, Dr. T. I work here at PayPal and I lead our customer advocacy group. I work with merchants across our ecosystem and great merchants like Jen Atkin, who is here with us today. So I'm delighted to introduce her for our boot camp. She launched cult favorite hair care line, Way, and is the founder of the beauty website Main Addicts. So she also released her first book, which I happen to have here with me, Blowing My Way to the Top. And this chronicles her journey, both as an entrepreneur in the hair and entertainment industry. So she's a celebrity hairstylist, a beauty columnist, an entrepreneur. Her clients include the Kardashians and the Jenners, Hadids, Katy Perry. She currently lives in LA with her husband, her son, and her 2 rescue dogs. So Jen, I would love to have you introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about how Way uses PayPal, how you use PayPal, who you are, and most importantly, thank you for being here to chat with us today on this Saturday.
Thank you for having me. First of all, you did such a great job introducing me. I feel like my mom wrote that. And my most important job right now, I guess, is running my businesses, but also being a new mom and taking care of my 2 rescue dogs. And I'm so excited to be here. I know we only have 20 minutes, so I'm going to kind of keep my answers hopefully short and sweet. But I am a PayPal big fan, and I have been for years. I use it on. It's funny when I think of PayPal, I think of every flight that I've been on because I use it to purchase Wi-Fi. I use it for shopping. When I go through my statements for PayPal, it's a lot of shopping. It's a lot of any rescues that I donate to, like dog rescues, I use PayPal. But it's such a huge part of my everyday life. And then my company, Way, we actually are a PayPal partner, and anyone can use it on theway.com and make quick, trustworthy purchases. And I think it's so fun for me to be able to be here today and talk about PayPal and give some advice to budding entrepreneurs.
Awesome. I love that. Well, thank you for being a customer, both personally and professionally. So we appreciate it. All right. Well, we'll jump right into it. Jen is here today to, answer your questions about how to leverage your personal brand. That's our session on growing your business. And the great thing is we've literally received hundreds of questions from business owners just like you. We can't answer every question, unfortunately, but we tried to tackle the key themes and topics to make sure that this is useful for as many people as possible. So with that said, we will jump in, and our challenge to Jen will be to try to answer these questions in about 60 seconds. So this is rapid fire, business advice.
This
so,
is like speed dating, Dr. T. This is fun.
Totally. I was thinking the same thing. All right. Well, here's our first question that we got from our audience. What was it like when you started out? And is there anything that you wish you had done differently?
Oh my God. When I started out, there was no social media. So that was the big difference to today. When I started out, I was in extreme credit card debt. So if there's anything I wish I would have done differently, I think I would have managed my money better. I finally came around and hired a business manager who taught me so much over the past 8 or 9 years. I was audited. Hairstylists get audited a lot. So that's just one thing I wish I would have paid more attention to. And when it comes to launching the brand, I wish I really paid attention to social media and how to use it to really grow the business. But I wish I would have really paid attention to taking advantage of new technology and making it really easy for my customers to pay, that purchase point to be really easy for them. And PayPal obviously is so helpful for us now.
Awesome. Great. Good answer. All right. You're on a roll here. Let's challenge you with the next one.
Can I answer these wrong? Oh, no. I didn't know there was a wrong answer. Shoot.
What's your advice for someone just starting their business? Oh, that's a good one.
Oh my God. Well, I wrote a book about it, and after like we sent that to print, I'm like, wait, there's so much more. I think, my biggest points is to be kindly aggressive. And I think it's kind of a newer concept, but I think in business, especially as a woman, it's really important to be able to ask for what you want and to get your point across and to really push for what you want. Be self-reliant. Stay curious. I'm always curious. I'm always asking questions from members on our team. I think you really need to think about your customer or your follower and don't think about competition because it's just going to hold you back. I really, really, really suggest listen to podcasts, read a lot, just dive into whatever subject it is that you're researching. And then find mentors, whether it's somebody that you know, somebody that's alive, somebody that's dead. Again, just like read up and try to learn from people's wins and from people's losses.
That's great. One of the things I really liked in your book was when you talked about how, self-promotion doesn't mean leaving people behind. It really means bringing people with you. And I really liked that point because I think sometimes people who are starting out might feel a little bit shy about that.
Yeah, no, it's so important. And it's so fun for me to be able to like open the door for others because, it didn't always, when I first started out, it was not like that. So it's nice that it's changing.
Yeah. I love it. Okay. Well, on to our next question, which is, how do I start building my own personal brand? Yeah, that can feel overwhelming, I think, for people.
Yeah, I think definitely. I think the number one thing is you have to really have a reason for why you want to do something. You can't really just do something because you want to do it. You need to have a reason behind it. You need to either have a passion for it, an interest in it, or, really research the market and see what you can do differently, what's not out there and available. And obviously don't procrastinate. I think, the world is moving really fast because of social media and just the way our lives are. So I think definitely don't procrastinate and don't think about the hours and don't complain because I think, everyone thinks things are so easy, but it takes years to really like build a brand. And then once it's built, you have to like run a business and try to like keep things really fresh. So it's going to be, a year long, many years ahead. So don't complain at the beginning, especially because that's the fun part.
Yeah, no, I like that. I think one of the things in your book was you really emphasized just staying curious, right? And then that curiosity kind of helps drive you forward. And I like that, you were talking about your brand kind of solving a problem that hadn't already been solved, right? Women want to look good without necessarily, having to go to the salon, right? How do I just sort of wash and go? And to really, help solve that. So that was really, kind of ties into that whole building the personal brand, right? You've got something you're passionate about solving for.
Yeah, for sure.
Great. Okay. Moving along. How did you leverage social media to grow your brand and your following?
Oh my God. So I think, social media is a blessing and a curse. Sometimes I'm so happy that we have it, but sometimes it can be such a distraction to your real life. But I think in business, especially, social media has created kind of the largest paradigm shift that we've ever seen. If you think about what business was like, what industries were like when our parents were starting out versus now, it's exciting. I actually am really excited about it because I think there's so much change happening in literally every single industry. So it's a great time to be able to like invent things, to refresh things, to think about, a new way of doing things. And I think that, having your social media following or even just having social media to interact with different brands and different people and just, meet people outside of where the radius that you live. I think it's really, really exciting.
Yeah. I like how you talked about promoting other brands, right? Not just your own brand, that kind of halo effect is really powerful as well.
Yeah. I think that goes back to like authenticity and, it's really important that the trust of your customer or your followers is really important. And I think by me doing that just shows like a real bird's eye view into like my life and all the brands that I use, not just mine.
Yeah, I love that. All right. And let's see what's next on our list. How is your brand important? Why is your brand important? And how does it translate into dollars?
Oh my God. This is a great question. You have good ones. Well, I think what was kind of the big differentiation for Way was we were one of the first socially connected digitally native brands. And that was really important for me to be able to have like a conversation with my customers to help, figure out what we're going to come out with.
Right.
And to also kind of get, feedback and criticism and figure out like what we can be doing better, which is super helpful for us as a brand. I think for those that are just starting out, like PayPal, having that as a payment option can be really helpful for converting new customers that like your brand, but they really want like the reassurance. I think just being able to see that logo there really helps them to have, trust that your brand is legit. It's one of the reasons that we have PayPal on theway.com.
Nice. Yeah, for sure. Right. Drives that trust, which drives purchasing. So helps make that translation happen. Fantastic. Ooh, this is a nice one. How do you show up as your authentic self every day, no matter what?
Oh my
or
God.
at least 90% of the time.
Yeah. It's funny. I thinking about a story I shared in my book where my dad, for some reason, one day he just randomly stumbled upon my YouTube account. And so he was watching all my YouTube videos and he called me at the end of the day and he was like, and he actually was like, kind of his voice was trembling. And he was like, I am so happy that, you were you. He's like, I was expecting you to like be playing a character. He's like, but it's just, he calls me Beezy. He's like, it was just my little Beezy on there, being yourself. And it felt really good. Like that made me feel like, I don't know, it just made me really feel happy that I kind of haven't lost who I am in sometimes this filtered world of social media. But I think it's really important to keep yourself authentic, give yourself room to fail. I think that we kind of fall into this idea of perfection. And I don't think that's realistic. So I think, be kind to yourself and give yourself room to grow and to make mistakes and learn from them and really focus on, I think it's important that we're talking about self-awareness and mental health so much right now. Because it is so important. I think, I myself have gone to therapy. I think that working on yourself is important because like any issues or trauma or demons that kind of are following you, can either drive you forward or hold you back. So I think it's really important, to stay authentic and, just take care of yourself mentally and physically and try to be, show up as your best self every day.
I like that. It's powerful. I think there's a lot, it's okay to be our authentic self. Sometimes I think we get a lot of pressure to maybe, show up as someone else, but really, being authentic is really, the best thing we can do.
Yeah. It's important.
So how do you keep your brand interesting?
Oh my God. How do I keep my brand interesting? I have to say it's probably, through the conversations that we have with our consumers. I think you can't sell somebody something that they don't want or don't need. And I think that that's one thing that is really helpful for us because we have that direct line of communication. I think our team, I have to give them a lot of credit because they work so hard to make sure things are fresh and fun and exciting. And they work very, very hard. And I think, again, those conversations, just continuing to have them with your followers and customers and friends and family. We talked about like earning that trust with your customer. I think that that's something that helps you to keep your brand interesting because you're staying current, you're knowing what their needs are. You're kind of like growing with them, And I think, again, like that constructive criticism, I love to ask, I love to hear when people say they love certain products that we have, but I also love people I've had people come up to me actually at airports and they're like, I tried this product, it didn't work for me. What do you think? And I love that because it really helps us, again, to just continue to innovate and create product that works for everyone.
Nice. Well, I already shared with you that I like your detox shampoo. So now I'll have to think of something that I would improve about it.
That's one of our best sellers, actually, the detox shampoo. It's really good.
Yeah, it is. Okay. How do I find funding for a new startup?
Oh boy. Okay. This is interesting. So I think it's important to let everybody know when I first started thinking the idea of the brand, what I want it to look like and smell like, and kind of the ethos of it, I did not have a lot of money. So I think one thing is if you're forward thinking, if you're constantly trying to do something a new way, and that was, what I was doing with Way, I was looking at the marketplace, what was missing, what I wanted it to look like and be and represent. And, I did start to get some interest, but I will say if you can just ask anyone that you know in your life or people even on social media, it never hurts to ask, if they can lead you in the right direction, if they know any, sort of investors that are looking to get into this space. You really just have to put yourself out there. And again, study the industry and know, you can read in the trade publications who's funding what brand in the space. Like you really just need to do like your homework. But again, you just have to put yourself out there. It's kind of like dating. You have to just put yourself out there.
Yeah. Yeah. I love the part in your book where you talk about, kind of going in front of these VCs, later in your journey, and that, feeling a little bit nervous about that, but also, remembering that you were the expert on what you're talking about. Right. And that remembering that authentic self. And I thought that was really wonderful. No one knows your topic like you.
Yeah, it was so intimidating. And I really, I hate this term, but I think of myself as a geriatric millennial because I remember social media not existing. And I also, I work with a lot of young clients and have a lot of young people on my team. So it's interesting because I'm kind of teetering in between these two generations. And I think it was at that moment when I was like really like presenting my idea, that's when I started to get more confidence because I was like, well, these people have, basically their money in their pockets, then they can help drive my business to the next level. I had to have that confidence in what I was selling. So I think that it's important to just really believe in yourself in those moments.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. Yeah. Right there with you on the geriatric millennial.
It's such a horrible term.
It is. What role do you think female founders can play in helping more women succeed? Great question.
Yes. God, when I think about the word female founders, I have like 30 friends that come to mind, and it's been really exciting to kind of all grow our brands at the same time and help support one another. And my brand would not have catapulted the way it did without their support and their ears and their, shoulders to cry on at times. I think it's really important to, as a female founder, to send the elevator back down. You mentioned my company, Main Addicts, and we now represent a lot of artists, hair artists and makeup artists who, are kind of starting out in the industry. And it's so fun for me to be able to help them create content and work with different clients. And I swear to you, like their wins are more exciting for me than mine. I'm talking about in therapy, don't worry. It's so great for me to be able to, open those doors that were really hard for me when I was starting out as a woman in a male dominated industry. It was, it's so exciting for me to see the change in my own industry that's happened. And now there's so many successful female hairstylists and others that are starting brands themselves. So I think, I'm really proud of the work culture and the environment that I have at Way and Main Addicts. I think this could get me in trouble, but we're probably 80% women. And it's really fun for me to walk through the office and on Zoom calls and see that change.
I love that. Well, is there anything else you would like to share with our attendees before we jump over to our conclusion?
Oh God, I'm inspired by looking over at my assistant who's here in the office with me on a Saturday. And I will say, find smart people and invest in them. I think that's one of the best things I've ever done is really find people who are smarter than me, who have great work ethic, and like really, watch them like blossom and go.
Yeah, no, that's great. Finding people we can trust is really important. And then, watching them kind of come along with us is really exciting part of the journey. That's really the end of our time today. It's been so lovely. And we really thank you for attending. And we thank Jen for being here with us. Huge thanks to you, Jen. This has been just phenomenal.